To address the issues facing Tennesseans today, from 10 News, this is Inside Tennessee.
Good Sunday morning and welcome to Inside Tennessee. I'm your moderator along with my colleague John North and our panel. Susan Richardson Williams, she's a Republican and runs her own PR firm. Don Bosch is a Democrat, runs his own law firm. Great to have all of you in. And our guests this morning include two lawmakers from Knoxville. The first, Dr. and Senator Richard Briggs, representing the Knox County region, and also with us, Representative Gloria Johnson. She has represented Knoxville in the state legislature for a cumulative 6 years. It's great to have both of you with us. Gloria Johnson's background as a special education teacher, Dr. Briggs's background as a heart surgeon. Dr. Briggs, let's start with you. The one thing that the legislature is mandated to do is pass a balanced budget. You did that. So what was the best thing and what was the worst thing that the legislature did after that?
Well, you know, I think the other major issue that we dealt with this year was we call it the TISA or the TESA, depending on how you pronounce it. It's the Tennessee Investment for Student Achievement, because we're completely redoing the way that we send money down from the states to the local schools. And that, that is was a very, very big part of what we did this year. The BEP has been in place since the 1990s, and this does the formula on how the money comes down to the local school boards and the local school districts. And I would have to say that was another major achievement that we had this year.
And what was the worst thing you did this year?
I don't know. I don't try to dwell on those things. We did have some odd bills. One that sort of sticks in my craw as a physician was the ivermectin bill, but I won't go any more. I won't go into that anymore. We did make ivermectin essentially an over-the-counter drug.
All right, Representative Johnson, let's pick up with you on that very question. The best and worst thing the legislature did, and then we'll bring in Susan.
Okay, I'd say probably for me the best thing was the campaign finance and ethics reform legislation. I don't quite think it went far enough, but I think it is a good start having some of those outside PACs have to declare how much money they spent, that sort of thing. I think that is a move in the right direction for that. That's probably one that, with bipartisan support that everybody felt good about, I think. As far as the bad ones, this is a tough question for me because I think there was a lot. And quite frankly, I think that this was a session of more missed opportunities of things that we could have done for Tennessee families. But I would see the TISA bill, the funding formula for education, as one of the worst things that we did. Absolutely. I don't think it is ready for prime time. It is a half-baked idea that didn't get vetted as thoroughly as it should. And I'm very concerned about how it's going to play out. And as are school teachers and many folks related to the schools, none of the education groups came out in support. None of the like superintendents and teachers, and none of those groups came out in support of this formula, and it's very concerning. And we did not seriously address teacher pay.
I want to get into those specifics and bring in Susan. Just a quick foundational question. We asked Lieutenant Governor Randy McNally this question a few weeks ago when we had him on before the conversation, and I held up a dollar bill and I said, okay, this is the amount of money coming to Knox County schools right now under BEP. How is this going to change for the good or for the bad? And he said it will change by cents. Is that true, Representative Johnson?
Well, I mean, currently, if you look at this year and you take what the locals are spending in conjunction with what the state is spending, and that's about $9.4 billion. This budget calls for $9 billion. So there's a lot to be seen. There weren't any numbers or many numbers in this legislation. It's all in the rulemaking that comes after. And I have great concern with what we're going to see.
Senator Briggs, your reaction, then we'll bring in Susan.
Well, a couple of reactions. One, prior to the legislative session starting in January of this year, there were 64 committees and focus groups that involved an awful lot of people around the state. And then those committees each gave their input to a larger committee, and then that information went in formulating the TISA formula and the TISA program. Now, the other thing is, unlike many of our bills that are signed that then become law on July 1st of the year, this bill will not become effective until the 23-24 school year. So if we do run into any problems, if we do have problems, we do have time to correct it. The other thing that I would like to add about the budget in general, in particular with regarding TISA and education, is the budget increased by $10 billion. We went from roughly $42 billion up to $52 billion because of the excellent financial situation that the state is in, and there should be an extra there's an extra $1 billion that will go into education. I'm not sure exactly what Lieutenant Governor McNally was referring to, but before the formula was roughly 67 to 33 under the BEP as far as state monies and local monies, and it now will be 70% paid for by the state and 30% locally.
All right. Well, we were just trying to get a sense of what the difference might be in Knox County to give people a sense of whether it was going to be more or less. So appreciate that. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to be back with more of our conversation on Inside Tennessee. Back with more right after this.